So today we got to talk about what the president had to say about sports in the age of the coronavirus and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, we got to talk about President Donald Trump holding a conference call with the nation's commissioners of basically every major professional league that we have. Adam Silver of the NBA, Roger Goodell of the NFL, Dana White of the UFC, Engelbert from the WNBA, NASCAR. Everybody but the NCAA was in on a conference call with the president where the president wanted to talk about apparently how he expects sports to go on in the age of the coronavirus. Now, the news here is all coming from Adam Schefter, who had the scoop on this, and with Woj, and two things that he said. One, he expects to have fans in the stands for sporting events in August or September. Two, we don't know what health professionals have had to say about that because health professionals have basically been, not wanting to go there. And I get it. They have the public and what is best for us as they're at the forefront. I also recognize that in this wild time where politics is very much part of sport, we're having a difficult time sussing out what is true and what is not about this whole virus. And what's really hard is, who do you want to believe about what's best for the country? Because many of you are experiencing what so many are, which is unemployment. And we're talking about unemployment probably getting up to about 15%. And this is from the markets, right? We've seen the Dow go up and down. We've seen record lows. We've seen the worst experience for the New York Stock Exchange since the housing crisis in 2008. And we're in the middle of this pandemic. And yes, it is April 4th, and we're talking about what's going to happen in August or September. And I had been wanting to put that off for some time because who knows what's going to happen and how this thing is going to go. In New York, they were talking about just last week that perhaps you could see the peak of the coronavirus pandemic at, 2 weeks from now. And then you might see it begin to crest and it begin to flatten as such things. But we also have over 1 million confirmed cases, according to Johns Hopkins. And we've seen more deaths in New York because of this virus than 9/11. And all of this is not just a national crisis, it is a global crisis, and we're talking about sports. And at this particular juncture, I believe that, yes, having the hope of sports is the most important thing right now for many of us because it gives us so much to look forward to. Because if we're able to have sports, and we're also able to have, as the president believes, folks in the stands to talk and to hug and to enjoy sports with, so many other things must be going on, right? Because it's not just sports that have been affected. Concerts have been halted, right? We've seen movie production halted. We've seen all of us working from home. Like, I do my radio show from here, right? Which also leads me to believe my radio show setup is much better than that of others. Like, I watched Nick Wright host Colin Cowherd's show from a wall in his bedroom, and I'm going, yo, man, that looks like me 2 years ago. Don't you make a whole lot of money from cable? Shouldn't you have a better studio setup with some depth to it? And I'm watching Jimmy Kimmel do his show from what looks like his guest house. And we're all learning how to deal with this at a time when, yeah, it's inconvenient, but that's all it is right now for some. And for others, you're actually losing parents, friends to this virus that we were not as quick to jump on top of, and that we're still having to fight people about whether or not it's real and where it's coming from. And it is very much in the middle of the thing that I love and the thing that I make a living doing. I write about sports. I talk about sports. It's what I do. So normally where we would have this whole stick to sports mentality, we can't because this thing has come like railroading in to what we're doing. And now we got the president on conference calls with professional sports commissioners, like telling them what he expects to happen, but not necessarily knowing whether or not there was a health professional on to co-sign any of this, but apparently there wasn't. I don't know why you needed to have a conference call about it on April 4th when they're doing what we all think they should be doing, but also WrestleMania is happening today at their center in Orlando, which many people would tell you ain't a smart decision, right? You're going to put on this show in spite of all the data that's saying, hey, man, everybody says stay at home. Probably shouldn't do this. And they're saying, hey, look, we taped these some weeks ago. It's really not that big a deal because we were doing this back before people were being told to stay at home. And we're even seeing that with AEW is going to try to put on their shows at some undisclosed location. And Dana White is hell-bent on having UFC 249 somewhere. He's looking at other nations to hold it, particularly in this country. Tribal nations he's going up to going, hey, can we hold this at your casino and whatnot because he wants to make some money. I get all of that. I understand all of that. I also I want people to be safe. I love sports as much as anybody else. Probably more than most people. And I want to see college football played. I want to see the NFL played. I want to see the NBA played. I want to see Major League Baseball played. I want to see all of these things go on. But as we continue to deal with the loss of life, I don't want to put that in front of people. Football is going to happen. It's about when, right? Will it happen in September? Who the hell knows, right? But if it happens in the spring, that's fine. And the reason I know that football is going to happen because it's responsible for so much money that facilitates both from consumer spending and from business spending and from all these other places for which you're about to find out how much football actually matters. I don't mean just the NFL, I mean college football. If college football wasn't played for a year, so many university athletic programs would go under. You would totally reshape the making of the NCAA. I mean that. Every single member institution is affected right now. And if there is no college football, they go away, right? The ones that don't have football teams also didn't get to play in March Madness. They're distributing less than half of what they normally distribute to these schools. It's usually about $600 million that the NCAA distributes following March Madness. Because there's no March Madness, they are distributing just about $275 million, and that's after dipping into the emergency fund of $50 million to get it to that number. You're still less than half, right? You're also looking at TV money that you were banking on from this college football season, even if you had to play in what are empty stadiums, but it's impossible to have empty stadiums with 100 kids on each sideline, plus support staff, plus coaches, plus the cameramen and the color commentators in the booth, all of these other things that have to take place, to say nothing of what radio is going to have to do to make football something you can actually watch and or listen to and enjoy. And I'm doing this now because it's unprecedented. And I was looking at Adam Schefter's Twitter page and I'm refreshing the hell out of it. And I'm going, that's how I know that this is something I should be talking about. That's how I know this is a topic that needs to be discussed. Because if I felt that kind of way about it, even as I don't know exactly how deep into this we need to go, I still wanted to put it out there so that, at the very least we can get something going in the comments about it, because I think this is a seminal moment. I think this is a thing that we're going to talk about for months on end. I mean, even now, the NFL draft, bury the lead, RJ, is going to be done virtually. I didn't know that it wasn't going to be virtually. I thought it was going to be folks at home doing Zoom conference calls on who they're going to take number 1, number 2, number 3, when really they were expecting to have these folks in their league offices to do this draft remotely, which is grouping people together, which is the thing we're not supposed to be doing right now. And yet, that's what the NFL has done. The WWE, they're going to do it. They're going to go ahead with SmackDown. I'm not sure that our sports folks have our best interest at heart, but I also understand they're trying to get this money, and I can't really come after or go after anybody who's trying to get this money at this time when it's a privilege right now to be able to go get this money. So it's a paradox, man, and we're doing our best. try to make good decisions today. That's what I'm asking. Try to make good decisions today. Try to have hope for the future. Stay at home. Watch YouTube. Do whatever it is you got to do. Read a book. Try to have hope. Try to find a reason to think about 2021, because I know many of us have already punted on 2020, right? We've already been like, this is a wash. But 2021 could be one of the best sports years of our entire lives, because so much is going to happen in 21. All right, it for me. Doses.